Something I've identified among people that have made millions of dollars, raised millions of dollars, but eventually hit a roadblock is entrepreneurial post-traumatic stress disorder. In this video, we're gonna talk about what it is, if it's holding you back, how to overcome it, and achieve greater success than ever before. Coming up on 8 years ago now, I launched my first ever business. It was in digital marketing, video marketing specifically. It had a lot to do with editing, getting videos that would go viral on pages, creating content, and I was fortunate that at such a young age, I was able to get VC funding and scale. And before I knew it, I was like 24 years old managing a whole office of 30 people. And it was fun. I learned a lot. And as any 24-year-old egoic person might be, I was on top of the world. I thought I was gonna sell this business for billions and everything was going amazing. Well, as the saying goes, if you ever wanna make God laugh, tell him your plans. So I won't get into all the details, but after a few years of running that company, it was successful. I did learn a lot. However, I was so attached to the outcome of that business and to that company. I literally gave my whole life to it, to the point where when it came crashing down on me, and it did come crashing down on me, it affected me tremendously. I ultimately ended up getting demoted and removed from the company that I had founded. So even though I was fortunate to get a nice buyout offer and I had already been growing my blog on LinkedIn at the time, so I had a following I could walk away with, and I had this huge skill set around video editing, managing even, hiring, firing, business. I had this amazing skill set that I could just take with me and start over. The problem was the entire skill set that I had just been developing for years was now attached to this major traumatic event that I just went through that was really affecting me emotionally. I didn't even realize until years later, recently even, as I'm finally coming out of the fog, that I was suffering from entrepreneurial PTSD. So even though I did launch another video business, and even though I did go on to have success on LinkedIn, I was miserable and I was constantly running away from my responsibilities as a business owner, and specifically was hell-bent on avoiding anything that reminded me of my last business, of my last business partners, and of all of the things that had gone on there. So I went into this extreme state of avoidance. I just couldn't work on my business. I couldn't look at Premiere on the timeline. I couldn't edit videos. I couldn't review videos. I couldn't even manage people. I somehow pulled it off, and shout out to all of the amazing people I delegated to over the years while we ran my LinkedIn video marketing program. But I could not face anything that even remotely resembled my first company because I was so incredibly traumatized from the way that things ended and the way it all went down. So be ready for the most interesting part, which, listen up, because this might actually be what you're going through if you're currently in a vocation or a job that you think that you hate. I thought I hated this industry. I thought marketing and videos, not for me. I thought I was just too weak to figure out how to make money elsewhere with my other interests like singing and entertainment, because I was constantly running from my business, which was video marketing. So it's easy in our heads to justify, hey, this isn't in alignment for me. This isn't the career path for me. I'm not doing my passion. I'm not doing what I love. And I actually thought that for years. And I actually had a lot of shame around feeling like I'm in the wrong industry and what am I doing still doing video marketing? This sucks. I can't face anything. I'm just miserable. Well, let me tell you something. It has been over 4 years since I left that first company, and it has actually taken me that long to process, move through, and realize I don't hate video marketing. Wait a minute, no, I actually love this shit. This is actually so fun. I just had such bad PTSD associated with video marketing that it made it really hard to operate in this industry the past 4 years. And then every day I'd show up to work feeling like a fraud because I knew knew that I had these internal feelings that I didn't want to be there, that I wanted to run, I wanted to go in my pool and smoke weed every day. So it created more and more shame, where I was running on this loop of like, every day I don't like this, but every day I'm forcing myself to do this. What if my clients find out I'm such a fraud? And that lasted for a really long time. Eventually gave up smoking weed, thank you God. Recently quit drinking. Turns out getting the drugs and the distractions out of the way also helps speed up the recovery and healing process. And something amazing has happened. I've suddenly realized I can sit down and I can edit video. I can sit down and I can talk to clients about their marketing, and I actually feel like it's enjoyable and I'm good at it. So wait a minute, you mean to tell me this whole time it's not that I was in the wrong career path, I'm actually in the right space? Are there like certain offerings and little things I was doing that I shouldn't be doing within that space? Sure, and I'm getting more and more clear on my scope of work within this creative field and within marketing, but it was never that it wasn't for me. It was just that I had so much trauma attached to these things. They constantly reminded me of a very traumatic time in my life that I was not able to work through until I got very clear, very clean, and very honest with God about, hey, I need to make a change in my life. So if you are someone who is in a career or in an industry where you feel like you're in the wrong spot and you feel like you have this calling for a different industry or a completely different career path, you might be right, and that happens all the time. But it might be that you've just had some trauma in your career path around that specific industry, and now whatever new job you have is simply just triggering the negative events that happened previously that you haven't yet processed. Something to think about. How do you process this? I don't know. You could spend like years frolicking around the spiritual community doing plant medicines every weekend like I did. That certainly helped. No, actually I do love plant medicines and they have helped me a lot, but they can also be an avoidance for sure. I learned that. So I think for me, what really did it was when I finally got strong enough to accept fully that I wasn't in alignment in my career, right? Because that's what I thought. I thought I'm way out of whack doing these marketing services and this consulting and this coaching, like this is not for me. And so I made a really bold move and I shut down my program and went into something that I have always felt is in alignment for me and I love, but I've had like fear around how do I make money doing this, which is just entertainment. So I made a bunch of announcements. I was like, hey, everyone who wants to promote on my page, I'm just gonna be an influencer. Screw being a service provider, that's not me, da da da. And that's actually been great. And I am excited to be doing more with influencer marketing. I love entertainment and I love also being the one on camera. But something so interesting happened. Since I started doing that and since I fully let go of the coaching program I had, I've realized and come to find that it was just trauma. And I do love those things. I do miss those things. And I started attracting new clients, better clients who do still want the coaching, do want the consulting, but it's more on my terms and it's more from a space of me being healed and me being ready to take on that kind of a business model again without constantly being reminded of the failures of the past, and most importantly, without over-identifying with my vocation and over-identifying with my job and over-identifying with my potential failures, which that is part of entrepreneurship. I am creating a lot of new offers right now and I am changing my consulting side of my business and I might fail. I'm just finally okay with it. I've come to Jesus and I've really realized that when you surrender and you let go of fear and you just listen and keep an open mind at the opportunities God is sending you, it becomes very clear what you should be doing for work. And it becomes very clear what you enjoy because you're not in survival mode anymore, just chasing the next sale, et cetera, et cetera. Once I switched my mindset from I gotta make money, I gotta chase sales, even though I have such imposter syndrome because I failed in the past and I don't want to be found out, and to, okay, I don't care, screw the money, I'm shutting down my program, I'm gonna go broke for a little while and figure out what I actually love to do. Now I'm able to approach business from a place of love and compassion and genuinely just picking my own clients. If someone gets on a call with me and they want consulting and I'm not vibing with them or I don't really genuinely feel like I can help them, I no longer feel like I have to make the sale regardless because I'm no longer in survival mode. So yeah, that's entrepreneurial PTSD. It's crazy, crazy story. I used to edit videos all the time. I just recently downloaded Premiere onto my computer again. I can't even believe I want to edit again. I thought if I ever broke out of this industry, I'd run for the hills and never come back. And it's actually been the opposite. I've actually realized this is where where I want to be, and I don't hate it. I just had a lot of trauma around it, and I had a lot of things in my current business that were triggering my old business. So if that's you, I suggest trying what I did, which is taking a break, taking a step back. Maybe do go into one of your hobbies more, go get a job that's drastically different. And maybe you're right, maybe that industry is not for you, but maybe you'll come back and maybe you'll realize it was just a little case of entrepreneurial PTSD and I needed a break, and you'll come back stronger than ever before, which is exactly what's happening here. And I'm so grateful. Thank you, Jesus. Thanks so much, you guys. I hope this video was helpful for you on your own entrepreneurial journey. And if you like the video, please subscribe to the channel for more.